Buckle up, because this is the political scandal that could drag Britain into an international nightmare. Sir Keir Starmer, the leader of the UK Labour Party, is at the centre of a furious storm after a stark warning from Donald Trump's closest allies. Comply with an International Criminal Court (ICC) arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and Britain could face devastating economic sanctions from the United States. The threat, delivered by Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, is no idle one. Graham has promised severe repercussions for any ally, including Britain, who dares to support the ICC's ruling. With Britain's government already split on how to respond, and Starmer caught between his past support for international law and the looming threat of American retaliation, the stakes have never been higher. This all stems from the ICC's explosive decision to issue arrest warrants for Netanyahu and his former defense minister Yoav Gallant. The court cited reasonable grounds to believe the two committed war crimes, including the use of starvation as a weapon of war. These charges are connected to Israel's military campaign in Gaza, which has left over 44,000 people dead and sparked a humanitarian crisis. The situation has grown so dire that reports from Human Rights Watch accuse Israel of deliberately allowing children to die from starvation-related complications. While the charges are grave, the political fallout has been just as explosive. Countries across the globe are now scrambling to decide whether to act on the warrants. Enter Lindsey Graham. Speaking to Fox News, the South Carolina senator did not mince words. If you are going to help the ICC as a nation and force the arrest warrant against Bibi and Gallant, I will put sanctions on you as a nation, he thundered. His message wasn't just aimed at Britain, but at all of America's allies. To any ally, Canada, Britain, Germany, France, if you try to help the ICC, we're going to sanction you. These words carry weight. With Donald Trump's potential return to the White House looming on the horizon, Graham's threats are a harbinger of the hardline foreign policy that could dominate America's approach in the coming years. For Britain, the stakes couldn't be higher. A trade-dependent economy, already strained by Brexit and global uncertainties, would find itself in an economic stranglehold if Graham's words turned into action. For Keir Starmer, this is a moment of reckoning. As a former human rights lawyer, Starmer has long championed the ICC and international justice. His Labour Party's Foreign Secretary, David Lammy, has previously spoken out in support of the ICC's independence, stating that the court must operate unfettered by political intervention. But this idealism is now colliding headfirst with the brutal realities of geopolitics. If Britain helps execute the ICC's warrant, Starmer risks enraging the United States, Britain's most important trading partner and geopolitical ally. Yet refusing to act could open him to accusations of hypocrisy and abandoning the very principles he has built his career on. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's government has also been pulled into this high-stakes quagmire. Downing Street has issued cautious statements emphasising the importance of maintaining dialogue with Israel, calling the country a key partner. At the same time, the government has stressed that it respects the ICC's independence and will comply with its legal obligations. But behind closed doors, it's clear that the Sunak administration is walking a diplomatic tightrope. The tension is palpable. Sunak's allies are desperate to avoid alienating the US, but they also face pressure from European counterparts who have pledged to respect the ICC's decision. The reactions from European nations highlight just how divisive this situation has become. Austria has called the ICC ruling utterly incomprehensible, but admitted that international law leaves no room for negotiation. Germany's response has been more cautious, with officials stating they are still examining how to handle the situation. Meanwhile, the Netherlands, Ireland, Belgium and Spain have all taken a firm stance, declaring that they will honour the court's ruling. These divisions underscore the broader international chaos sparked by the ICC's decision, leaving Britain isolated as it tries to chart its path forward. Netanyahu's camp has dismissed the charges as baseless, calling them absurd and false lies. His allies have even accused the ICC judges of being motivated by anti-Semitic hatred. Yet the evidence against him is mounting. The reports from Gaza paint a grim picture: widespread displacement, civilian casualties, and allegations of deliberate starvation. For the ICC, this is a clear-cut case of crimes against humanity. But for Netanyahu's supporters, the court's actions are nothing more than a politically motivated attack on Israel's right to defend itself. As this international scandal unfolds, Starmer faces another wave of criticism closer to home. Recent analysis has revealed that his own constituency, Holborn and St Pancras, is one of the most crime-ridden in the country. With over 36,000 reported offences in the past year, including theft, robbery and violence, critics are questioning Starmer's ability to lead on national or international issues when his own backyard is in disarray. Birmingham Ladywood, represented by Justice Secretary Shabana Mahmood, has also come under scrutiny as the second most crime-ridden constituency in the UK. These revelations have prompted outrage, with voters demanding that politicians focus on tackling crime rather than posturing on the global stage. But it's not just local crime rates that are tarnishing Labour's image. The party is also under fire for its stance on so-called non-crime hate incidents. Reports have emerged of police investigating children as young as 9 for playground insults, sparking a furious backlash. One case involved a 9-year-old being probed for calling a classmate a slur, while others saw schoolchildren accused of bullying behaviour recorded in police files. Tory MP Kevin Hollinrake has been one of the most vocal critics, lambasting the police for wasting resources on trivial incidents. "You police the streets, not the tweets," he declared, urging law enforcement to focus on making communities safer instead of monitoring social media and schoolyard disputes. Hollinrake's comments have resonated with the public, especially as crime statistics reveal a rise in serious offences like knife crime, fraud and sexual violence. Even MPs themselves are feeling the impact, with several having their phones stolen just steps away from Parliament. These incidents have fuelled accusations that the government, and by extension Starmer's Labour Party, have failed to address Britain's spiralling crime crisis. With calls for more neighbourhood police and tougher measures on repeat offenders, the pressure on both Labour and the Conservatives to deliver results is mounting. All of this leaves Starmer in an unenviable position. On the one hand, his commitment to international law and justice demands that he support the ICC and its warrant for Netanyahu. On the other hand, the political and economic fallout from angering the United States could be catastrophic. Graham's threats of sanctions, coupled with the potential return of Trump's hardline foreign policy, mean that Britain could find itself in America's crosshairs if it acts against Netanyahu. For a leader like Starmer, who is already grappling with domestic crises, this international scandal could be the ultimate test of his leadership. The question now is whether Starmer and the British government can navigate this political minefield without alienating their allies or betraying their principles. With tensions rising by the day and the eyes of the world on Britain, the stakes have never been higher. One wrong move could trigger a chain reaction with consequences far beyond the ICC, threatening to reshape Britain's global standing and its domestic political landscape for years to come.